I struggled to pick a headline topic for today's video. This past week we've seen laughable government hypocrisy, driverless taxis being announced to be hitting UK roads next year, proposed bonnet height limits and a new weight-based tax system. It has been a frantic week, but here's everything you need to know to be fully up to speed. We should really have some news music, shouldn't we? Hello and a very warm welcome back. Let's get into our first story here. Government fails to meet its own EV fleet commitments. You can't write it, can you? Exclusive research by What Car reveals woefully slow take-up of electric vehicles by the government. As ever, I'll read through the first couple of lines of this article just to give us a bit of context, if nothing else, and then we'll have a bit of discussion on it. The government is failing in its commitment to switch to electric vehicles, yet the Treasury continues to impose higher costs on ordinary motorists who do not switch to EVs, according to exclusive What Car research. Now, it's not exactly leading by example, is it? Essentially, what's happened here is through a Freedom of Information search, What Car have ascertained that only 15% of the government's fleet is electric, a long way off the 25% they pledged to hit by 2022. It was 3 years ago. It gets even better than this though, because the government, I think they're feeling a bit caught out by this, and they've now allowed their fleet users to apply for an exemption from going electric for security and other reasons. Now, whilst I'm in total agreement that an EV isn't suitable in every case and exemptions should be made for certain applications, I can't help but think it should be the same for the public and publicly run companies as it is the government. So why can't this same exemption process be made available to privately run companies and private individuals who, as a result, wouldn't be included in that EV adoption figure? These exemptions, they're going to be confirmed by the end of the month, however many the government managed to dig up. So I'll bring you another update then. Hit the subscribe button if you want to hear about that. Next, driverless taxis. Let's talk about them. They always divide opinion, don't they? They've been over in the US for some time now, but they're actually closer to the UK than you might think, with Uber set to have them on the roads by next spring 2026. What do we think about that? Are they going to work in the UK? Well, reception over in the US has certainly been a bit mixed, hasn't it? Drivers have blamed self-driving cars for erratic driving behaviour and causing traffic jams. In 2023, a taxi operated by GM's Cruise business hit a pedestrian and dragged them for 20 feet, leaving them with serious injuries. I do understand the technology behind these cars is incredibly clever. They've got AI learning. They can spot a cyclist or a pedestrian appearing at the last minute. But in a scenario like that, maybe where a pedestrian has even walked into your car, as a conscious being, you are aware of that. You've got spatial awareness of that. You can probably hear the poor person screaming and you know to slam on the anchors ASAP. How do you build that into one of these cars? Do you have additional microphones that listen out for blood-curdling screams? I don't know. The division was later fined over its alleged failure to properly report details of the crash. And in December, GM pulled the plug on the self-driving car business, despite having invested more than £10 billion in the technology. Next up on the ban list, high car bonnets. Yeah, you heard me right, high car bonnets. Ever-rising height of car bonnets, a clear threat to children, report says. High-fronted SUVs are more likely to kill and are on the rise in Europe, with the UK being an extreme example. The bonnet height of new cars in the UK and Europe is rising relentlessly, a report has found, bringing a clear and growing threat to public safety, especially for children. Higher fronts on cars significantly increase the death rate when pedestrians are struck. The analysis also found that drivers in the tallest vehicles could not see children as old as 9 at all when they were directly in front of the car. The UK has an especially large number of cars with the tallest bonnets. This is due to high sales of Land Rover models, with which Jeep are the only brand with an average car bonnet height over 100 centimetres. The researchers accused Land Rover of trading on the intimidation that comes with a high-fronted vehicle and ignoring the related dangers. I mean, I've got a Porsche Cayenne. It's good at towing. It's good on snowy dirt tracks. The one thing I would never say is I was attracted to it because of the intimidation factor. That seems a really bizarre argument to me there. Something else that is mentioned in this is, thankfully, more and more city leaders are pushing back against car spreading. That term really hit me there. It's a play on manspreading. You remember that? The decade-old term that described a male individual on public transport taking up too much room. Well, now it's car spreading. It's no longer you on the bus, Jim. It's your Land Rover in the city. Standing up for what citizens actually want, safe green streets without monster vehicles. I think you'll find if that's what people are buying, that's probably what they actually want, to use her wording. Naturally, this then turns into an opportunity to extract yet more money from the motorist. Mayor of London, Sir Sadiq Khan, has been urged to seek to increase taxis and parking fees for SUVs. The Assembly called on Sir Sadiq to ask the Treasury to amend vehicle excise duty to include a tax based on vehicle weight. Interesting, we'll come back to that. It also wants the Mayor to ask councils in the capital to consider charging more for parking larger cars and to call on the Department for Transport to introduce stricter limits on size and bonnet height of passenger vehicles. It's nothing new really. How long have they been trying to ban SUVs in city centres for? Coming back to the vehicle weight thing, the irony here is those who are behind these campaigns, they're the same ones that champion electric vehicles, which happen to be very heavy relative to their size. And this whole thing, it's all about pedestrian safety. Now, I can't be the only one here. This happened to me last weekend. Tesla came speeding up behind me. I didn't hear it coming. I was at a set of traffic lights. You're in a busy, noisy city environment. It's happened to me a couple of times. If anything, I'll take the larger car making the engine noise coming up behind me. Next story, there's no sugarcoating this one, and we really shouldn't, to be honest. UK road deaths, 4 people die every day, and it's only getting worse. More than 1,600 people died on UK roads last year, which is a 1% increase over 2023. I mean, let's address that first. The 1% increase over 2023. I mean, don't get me wrong, one person dying on the roads is an absolute atrocity, but that 1% increase is kind of accounted for because if you look at the stats, year on year, I think for this particular year, it went up by about 1.4%, the amount of miles driven on the road. So that 1%, it's quite in keeping with how many more miles were driven. If we're a bit cut and dry, a bit heartless about this and looking at the figures, as I say, one person dying is still horrendous. I wanted to include this because, well, let me know what you think, but I was driving a Golf recently, a new Golf, and I had to navigate through about 2 or 3 different menus in the centre screen to try and turn down the air conditioning, which was freezing my feet off. It was massively distracting. I do wonder how much this new tech plays into distraction and accident figures. Beyond that, we've got speed alarms now in all new cars that bong when you hit a certain speed. We've got lane assist that grabs the wheel if you happen to move left or right. You wonder if they play in, and this is before we get on to people are utterly addicted to their mobile phones, aren't they? I've got a window here in my office which is onto a main road. Sometimes I'll stand there and the amount of people who go past with their phone, seen a guy with an iPad the other week stuck on their steering wheel and they're either reading something or they're tapping away on it. It's just unbelievable, and sadly not something I think we're going to see change anytime soon. So on to the final story of today. New and used car markets at risk from Chinese automotive price war. This was on Fleet News just today, and it raises a very valid point. So over in China, you've got all these new car manufacturers. There was all these government subsidies over there. So they came out of nowhere, they started producing cars, they started selling them, and now they're having to discount them massively to remain competitive. The market is so saturated. Naturally, they're looking where else they can sell these cars and try and turn a profit. If you look to Europe or the US, there's big tariffs in place, particularly with the US, so they're not going to end up there. Well, the vast majority aren't going to end up there. But the UK, this little island sat in the middle, we have got no tariffs, so it is a complete free-for-all. Naturally, they're going to end up here. And what this article is getting at is our native manufacturers, well, they're having to compete with this cutthroat pricing. And it's going to put the markets at risk. We already see the impact on the second-hand car market due to the way that the new car market has gone. Still difficult to get quality petrol and diesels. Everyone's making hybrids or electric vehicles to try and meet the government quota. However, it means a lot of people are now moving to the second-hand market that historically would have bought new cars, and it's pushed the prices through the roof, hasn't it? The one small thing I can offer you here is, if that is you and you're moving to the used market, make use of my 20% discount for vehicle score. This is, I think, the best HPI checker. It's going to tell you if a car's got finance on it, if it's ever been an insurance write-off, basically all the stuff that you're going to want to know. A lot of people who typically buy new cars aren't aware they need to do this check. So there you go, you can make use of it and save a little bit of money. As ever, thank you so much for tuning in. If you have enjoyed this video, do hit the like button. I am gunning to try and get to that 100,000 subscriber mark, so consider hitting the subscribe button as well. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you next time.